In the last video, we made this very simple crosscut sled for my Startrite TA275, just to show that it doesn't need to be fancy and posh. It can just be basic as you like and do the trick. And that's exactly what this does. Happy with that. Now though, it's time to do some other bits and bobs with this saw to make it a little bit better. We're not going full bore refurb quite yet, but the jobs we're going to do are create a zero clearance throat plate, so we don't have the sort of rattly aluminium plate in the middle. We're going to just replace this dodgy old bit of plywood, and we'll see what happens with the fence there. And we're going to cover up the dust collection hose. I'm not going to create dust collection for this machine today because that'll be part of the refurb, but I do want to stop it just pouring out all over the floor, and so that's going to be a fairly straightforward task. So let's get stuck into things. I think we'll start with the fence. And regarding the fence, I've got some more of this black MDF that's got sort of a gloss finish on it that I got from a kitchen. These are offcuts from a kitchen place. So we'll use this on there. Bosh. Right, so removing the fence, we can see that we've got a massive, go under there, we've got a massive flathead screw there, smaller one there, and another one all the way over here on this side. So we'll get these off and see what we're working with. Okay, so this big screw right here was part of the hook side of things, so we can actually have a little look and see what we've got going on there as well. Okay, so what happens is through this bar goes a rod. It attaches to this lever on the right hand side, on the side that it is closest to you, and then it comes all the way through. It pivots off here and it screws into this little unit right here. Now that is seized solid at the minute, so I'm going to have to stick that into some de-ruster and see how we get on. Might have to punch it out and what have you, but the annoyance is I imagine that is threaded with an imperial thread rather than a metric one. So I could rethread it and put something in, but it might, yeah, it does look like it's possibly got a thread in it. So we'll have to see what we can get going on there. There's nothing glaringly obvious about this being wrecked or anything, so the plywood has done a job looking after it. So what I'll do is I'll just give it a brief kind of sand over just to sort of clear off this, and where you've got some discoloration going on here, it's a little bit iffy, a little bit bumpy. Same on that end. So I'll just nip over that with some 240 or something. In fact, I might even I'll try one of these pads first just to see if we can get it nice and smooth, just so we're not going to have any deflection with the MDF that I'm about to put on here. I think we're going to need something a little bit angrier. Go with some 240 Smurdex, available from eBrasives in the UK. Bloody love the stuff. Apparently, and I don't know if all mesh was like this, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, eBrasives was actually developed for metalwork rather than woodwork. It just works out really well for woodwork. Well, we'll have front to back on the fence. We will use the old wood to mark out some holes, and it should be a fairly straightforward sortaroo. 32 inches to this. Do I need to? I don't think I need to go into the pivot on the end there, to be honest with you. I could cut it off early because you don't actually need a fence once you get past the blade. And I could drill and tap that if I wanted to, although these look like they've probably got nuts in them. They were misses. Right, I will go to the end. Right, I don't have a need for it to be any higher than this one, so probably doesn't even need to be this high, to be honest with you. But now, ironically, I need to put the fence on so I can make this cut. You'll like this. Let me show you why I need to sort out this dust. This lot down here is from just that cut. I'm going to go with a 10 because it's more than big enough, and we're going to need a little bit extra care on spacing. They're just fine. Oh, that one will be okay as well. Right, let's see if I've drilled the hole straight. It's a good start. Okay, looks like we might be all right. Yep, we're going to be okay on that end as well. There we go. And yep, that'll do for me. We have got a little bit of movement away from the fence at the back end here, away from the top. There's a little twist maybe, but I can pop a shim in the top there, like we did with the playing cards on the crosscut sled. We've got a nice slidey front to the fence now, so that's good. So the next thing will be this. We're looking at about 7, just under 7, so around about sort of 6 and a bit, 7. That's probably a very dead-on number in Imperial, isn't it? But yeah, so we've got that. So I now need to make something like that. But we have got is actually we've got some risers in each corner, so it can be a little bit thicker than 7. I mean, we can make it bang on 7, I suppose, and alter it on the risers. So I'm going to cut a shape out. It's just going to be cutting a shape out. It's not going to be hard. And then I'll show you how I refine it. Okay, because I just measured this and we know what size the plate is, I just went through my wood store to find this is old plywood, but it's really stiff. It's really stiff, and it's just under 10 mil. So I thought, oh, I'll use that. That'll be bang on. And then, because that's what you'd use for a whole bunch of things, then I thought, well, I don't need to use 10 mil. I know this. I can use whatever thickness I want. I've just got to route out the corners and that little bit there. So that's what I'm going to do. And seeing as we use the black stuff on the fence, I think we'll see about using the black stuff on the throat plate as well, because that'll look sexy as you like. That's pretty close. Now on the sander. Let's see how we fit for a start. Oh, it's a little bit snug. That's okay. Just give that a little trimmy poos and we're golden. I think we're in nice and well. There's a little tiny bit of movement, but I'm okay with that. Let's see which bit looks the best, for which bit's going to be the top and which bit's going to be the bottom. Oh, well, I think that bit should be the top. So we look like that. Job's a good un. By hitting those, I'm getting some little indentations going on right there to tell me where these are. Although, to be fair, I should probably just measure and mark them. I'll do a similar thing on this side. Probably go out to about there. There and there. Right, so I've measured how deep we need to go. Right, so I could chisel these out, I could use a saw, cut down that way and then that way, I think I'm actually going to use the table saw for the ends, and then probably just saw and chisel this section out. Clean that up with a chisel, job's a good one. Something I am going to have to do is drill a hole, because if I push this into the saw and can't get the bugger out again, I'll be in trouble. So let's go for a 20mm hole. Make sure we're on a low gear on the drill, so we've got plenty of torque. I learned from my mistakes, so I'm going to actually clamp this down so it's a little bit more solid. These DeWalt drill bits are pretty good. Spade bits rather. I should pop the router around that just to tidy that up, I think, but there we go, that should work. Right, let's see if it fits. Okay, it fits, I think. Something feels like it might be stopping it. Alrighty, so a little bit of sanding and we're in. I've just got to sort out the side pieces. Now, what I do need to point out is, because this is a cabinet saw, the blade is really far down, which is brilliant in this situation, because it means I can pop that on, pop the fence over the top of it, hold it down as well, and I can get a full cut all the way up. But if you're using a sort of a contractor saw or something like that, quite often you haven't got the depth to be able to do that, but you know, it's doable. I've done it on plenty of saws, but yeah. So now I've just got to sort out these Allen keys, or Allen head machine screws, grub screws, so this sits nice and smooth and doesn't do that. Right, so seeing as it's imperial and all I've got is metric, I need to get a 2.5mm Allen key down to not 2mm, but whatever the imperial is, between 2 and 2.5. So pressure on the flat. Annoyingly, this is another one of those situations where these buggers do not want to come off. They've clearly not been moved for a long time, and yeah, they're just not interested in moving today. So WD-40 and penetrant spray, we'll see how we get on. Right, I've just spent a while with my customised Allen key trying to sort this out. I realised after looking at the photos that, unlike any other saw that I've ever used, rather than the cast iron being threaded and the grub screws, that's your lot, there's actually a nut under these grub screws as well. So that nut is locking the grub screw in place, which is brilliant, but it took me a while to figure that out. Also, I haven't got the imperial spanner necessary to lock it properly, but I'm just about getting away with an 8mm. Anyway, that being said, I've been around every corner as much as I can, and now we don't have any wobble. There's a little tiny sort of couple of areas that I think I could improve on, but the front, the lead in is good and the lead out is good. There's nothing that stops things that I can tell, so that should be pretty good. So I'm going to lock these off and then we'll bring the blade up. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got a posh saw or a contractor saw or a cheap saw that somebody gave you. This is always the scary bit of doing your own throat plate. So what we've got to do is hold this down and then lift up the blade as it's running, taking it slowly, bit at a time, and we'll see how we get on. Just realised the bloody riving knife's still attached. That's why I'm in a pain in the arse. What an idiot. So Remember to take your riving knife out before you do this, gang. Okay, now we've got to cut the riving knife hole. I am giving this some brief markings so I know exactly where I'm cutting as well. So now it just needs to be sanded a little bit to be a little bit chunkier. Got to stop the handle from squeaking, I know that. Do. Yes. Yes. There we go. We're up. Happy days. And it is proper zero clearance. And saving what should be the easiest job until last, I've got some cardboard here, so I'm just going to cut a section of it, use magnets, stick it on there, bosh, and then when I need to sort of clear all of that nonsense out, I can just take this off, brush it, vacuum, and away we go. Right, so a bit of foam core cut to size. I've popped magnets on the cast iron, pop a little bit of the thick glue on there, and there. And bosh. Right, so let's not forget these are not permanent upgrades. These are just kind of live with upgrades just to kind of make things work a little bit for the time being, while I make sure that it works properly, that nothing falls off. I haven't had a great run of luck with old equipment, so just so to make sure that everything runs as well as it can run. So I've stuck some rattle can black on that side a piece there, that bit of foam core, that's stuck there, and like I say, I can just remove that to empty it out when I want to. We've got the zero clearance and we've got the nicer front for the fence. Those things can both, anyone can do that. I mean, you could put foam core and make your own dust collection from that way as well if you want to. But yeah, hopefully this is the start of things kind of just moving along gently. Like I said, once again, not the main refurb, that will be done. I think I've actually just got a delivery from Amazon, and that's got some aluminium bars in it that I'm going to try and use because I'm happy making bars, but because this is a really old saw, I think these are 3/4 inch by 1/4 inch mitre slots. So I bought some 3/4 by 1/4 aluminium bar, because then if I can use my posh mitre gauge and all that sort of stuff, that'd be nice. And also it's a nice to know. I believe the original Startrite TA275, if ChatGPT is to be believed, mitre gauge actually runs above the surface, so that sounded interesting. But anyway, we'll see how those bars go. I do want to make a dust collection for the top as well, so like a dust hood crown guard, that's the word. So we'll get that sorted out at some point as well. I have got some other dust collection issues I've got to figure out in the workshop at the moment anyway, but at least hopefully that's the last of the MDF I've got to cut for the foreseeable. Right, so now I am going to go and have a big old rest, and I'm going to enjoy using this saw as is. I've learned some bits and bobs doing it, and I hope it's been in some way useful to you. But like I said, the fence and the throat plate, you can do that on any saw. Right, thanks very much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.